Hello, everybody. It is Wednesday night. I am here for all of you. This is really a time that I'm just going to spend here and see what kinds of questions you have. I have about a half an hour before I absolutely collapse, to be totally honest with you. And so I just really, I wanted to honor the time that I said that I was going to give to all of you this evening. Monica, unfortunately, has a family thing that she needs to deal with, and so she was unable to join, and so I really wanted to give this time to you. So drop your questions in the comments here, and I'm happy to answer anything. I already have one question that came up in our question box that I'm going to answer right away. Somebody asked, they said that they're dealing with primary infertility, and their family, a close family member, I think she said it was brother and sister-in-law or sister and brother-in-law, are having a baby shower next week, and she's wondering how to handle it. So, okay, I got it. I see. When did you start the page? That will come next. That will be number 2. Okay, baby shower next week, primary infertility. What do? You do what you can manage. I think, I'm going to throw out a couple of things. Number 1, how much do people in your family know about your situation? Do they know what you're going through, or is it something that you're hiding? If it's something that you're hiding, then that means that people aren't going to be more sensitive or more kind. They may not be that anyway. As we all know, even when we share what we're going through, sometimes people are just, they don't act the way we hope that they would act and that we would want them to act. But if they don't know, they're not going to treat you anything or in any way differently. And so they're going to be upset if you don't show up, or if you come late, or if you leave early. So I think that you have a couple of choices. Option number 1 is you can tell them, you can tell them something. That's option number 1, and just say, this is really hard for me, and you hope that they're going to be sympathetic, and you show your face, but you leave early or come late. That's option number 1. Option number 2 is lying. Yes, I've said it, and I'm saying it live, and this is going to be recorded, I hope. But there is a real value in saving your emotional sanity, your space for you. And if this is too hard for you, then people get headaches, people get migraines, people get stomach viruses, people get COVID, people get all kinds of things that make them not show up to events that they really wanted to go to. And so you can use one of those excuses if you just feel like you need an out and you can't just possibly, make yourself go. Or you can go or come late, and you can use one of those excuses then. You can signal, if your husband is going with you or your partner, you can signal to them, have a code word, and say hey, if I say the word orange, it means I need to leave, and I need to leave now. So I think, number 1, try your best to share what's going on. We're talking now, someone asked a question, just to bring everybody up to speed. Somebody asked a question about going to a baby shower of a close family member if they're dealing with primary infertility. So to sum up what I've just said, option number 1, share with them what's going on and that it's difficult and you may not be able to show, and hope that they're sensitive. Option number 2 or 3, you don't have to be there if you don't want to and if it's too much for you. And if you don't feel that you can just say no, then make up an excuse. So you bow out, or you go late, or you leave early. Those are my answers. If you have any other thoughts about that, please drop them in the chat. Okay, question number 2, somebody asked right in the beginning, when did I start this page? So this page is really an outgrowth of this nonprofit. So I Was Supposed to Have a Baby is actually an official nonprofit. And the work that we do is right here on social media. So the main place the first place we started was Instagram. We also put a little bit of stuff on Facebook. I also put a little bit of stuff on my own personal LinkedIn to try to educate and give people support over there. And many of you know we also, in the last few months, just started over on TikTok. Crazy place TikTok is. So this page started at the same time that we started the nonprofit, and that was in August of 2019. Many of you know that I was struggling with infertility and pregnancy loss. Okay, I got it. I see your question. We're going to get to that in a second. I struggled with secondary infertility and had many, many miscarriages. And I was alone. Like this, the reality of my situation is that it happened between most of my experiences happened between 9 and 12 years ago. And in the fertility world, that's like dinosaur years ago. People were not talking about infertility. They were not talking about pregnancy loss, miscarriage in any community, in public at all, in newspapers, on shows, at lectures, shiurim, anything like that. And now they are. Look, we're still not in a place where everybody's talking about it openly. And frankly, because this is something that's private, I'm not sure that we'll ever get there. And that's really okay. The point is to know that there are places to go when you need the support and you need that validation. And so, yes, we are in a much different space right now. But 2.5 years ago, approximately, I started this organization because I wanted something like this when I was going through all my stuff. I was desperate to reach out to people, to know that other people were going through things, and there was no one. There was no one that I knew except for my one person, and I've wrote about her before. Here on the page, I've wrote about her. You can look at the About section on our website where I wrote about her. She was my person, but beyond her, I had nothing. I didn't know there were other people who had difficulties like I did. So I wanted a space, and I wanted specifically social media and specifically Instagram. That was where we started and where I started, because the Instagram community is generally the 20 to 40-year-olds, the people who are going through their fertility stuff. Those are the ages, generally speaking. Facebook is a place where old people are, over 40 or over 45. And I really wanted to hit the people, and I wanted to support the people who are really going through it. And the other beauty about social media, as so many of you know, is that you can be anonymous and still get the support and still listen and still read and still interact with the content. You can make up an anonymous account. You can just scroll and people will never know that you're here. I mean, nothing. So I think that, it's a beautiful way to offer support in a way that's anonymous and that people really feel like they're not alone. And that was why I started it, and that was when I started it. Again, we're just doing a quick Ask Me Anything tonight. I have a little bit of time until I pass out. So I really just wanted to come on here and honor this time for all of you and see if people had questions. So let me go back here. There's a question here. Okay. What advice do you have for announcing sensitively to family and friends with infertility? Background. My older sister and I have shared so much in our infertility, and now we have different outcomes. Yeah, this is a lot. This is a lot. I really believe that, when people want to do the right thing, you're asking this question because you want to be kind and you want to be sensitive and you want to do it in the right way, and you want to protect the people who are struggling, and you want to protect their feelings, you want to protect their emotions. I love that, And I just want to honor that and tell you how wonderful you are for asking that question. So first of all, that's really the first thing that needs to be said. Secondly, in general, what we recommend, what most people want, is they want the ability to process those emotions, meaning process someone's announcement in a way that is private and in a way that is dignified. And so what that means is not telling people in public, not telling people face to face, not telling people directly over the phone in a live way or on a Zoom. It means dropping something for someone to read at their own time, at their own pace, and them being able to have the natural emotions that one would have when you find out that someone has something that you desperately want and you don't. So our suggestions are: text is a great way to do it. Email is a great way to do it. And this is through countless surveys that we've done of hundreds, if not thousands of people who say this is the way that they would have wanted to be told, because they want to be able to yell and cry and scream and say how life is unfair when they hear that someone is pregnant and they're not. And so if you tell them in person or if you tell them in any other way, they just have that fake smile of like, oh gosh, that's amazing. I can't believe it. Oh my God. And they do the, oh my God. And then they go back home and cry. Or by the time they get to the car, the tears are welling up and they don't even know what to do with themselves and they can't handle it. So we ask and we advise, I shouldn't say we ask, we advise people to do this in a way that allows them to see it in a time and space that feels right for them and is good for them. It's not shocking, it's not public, and allows people to process their own emotions naturally. Suggestions for what that text or that email would look like. The suggestions are, hey, I just want to let you know that we just found out we're expecting, or whenever you're telling people. I know that this news might be really difficult for you to hear because of everything that you've been through. Just know that I love you, we love you, and we support you. And if you need to have some distance and some space from us right now because it's too hard for you to be around us, we get it, we honor it, we appreciate it, and we will respect whatever you need. When you're ready, we're here, and we desperately don't want to lose your friendship because we care about you, but we want to respect what you need right now, so you need to lead and you need to tell us. And then, you let them lead the friendship, lead the relationship, lead the conversation. We're talking a lot about some of this stuff this week, about friendships, about boundaries, about relationships, about, honoring what you need, both sides of a friendship. When someone is dealing with something, you have to honor what you need. And the only person who can honor that, the only person who needs to stay true to themselves is you. No one else is going to do it for you. You have to advocate for you. And so you're doing your best for your friend, for your person, and trying to save them the difficult emotions of having to express things they don't really mean in public. And in turn, you also have to respect them in terms of what they do need after you share it with them. Those are our thoughts. Happy to answer more questions about that. Okay, let me see what else has come up here. Okay, I see one here. We need to talk about things we need to talk about. I feel the same about Instagram. It can provide support, information, and support in the palm of your hand. Yeah, I mean, that is exactly it. That is the reason why we're here. That is the reason why we do this work. Okay, guys, come at me. Tell me. I mean, I can just keep talking on and on, but I need you to ask me. Tell me what I can answer for you. What else can I tell you about? I can tell you about the podcast. I mean, that you know about already, which I'm very excited about. And it's going to be a wonderful tool for each of you to be able to listen to the content when you are driving or walking or, cooking or doing whatever it is. And for all of you who are not on social media very often, or you have friends on social media, friends who are off social media, and really think that they might be able to benefit from some of the content that we have. These episodes are going to be dropping. They're going to be 2 per week until we catch up. We're going back to all the episodes. We have 70 plus episodes that we've done already. We're going to do 2 per week until we catch up. And we've done tons and tons and tons of different topics. And our goal is to be able to, give each of you this extra space to be able to listen, but also to be able to reach so many other people. So share the podcast around. Okay, let's see. Let me check and see if there are any other questions. Otherwise, I have a couple things actually that have been on my mind that I wanted to chat about. 1 second. Okay. I don't see anything else. Feel free to drop anything in. I have about 10 more minutes here. So if you think of something, if you want to go away and then come back and you think of something, I'm here to answer any questions tonight. I have about another 10 minutes. So I spent, I mentioned, okay, sorry. Where do I live? So I live in New York. I live in Riverdale, actually. We've lived here since we're married, and it's really a wonderful community. It has lots of different kinds of, I'm like losing my words. I'm so tired. I apologize. There are lots of different kinds of shuls. There are lots of different kinds of people from really all across the Orthodox spectrum. And we love the diversity, and we love just living amongst lots of different kinds of people and showing our family that we as a community, we love to just be a part of community that's diverse and community that's interesting with lots of different kinds of people. And now I'm repeating myself. My husband and I are Balei Tshuva, which means that we did not grow up religious. And so for us, this is something that we both chose. I chose to become more religious towards the end of high school. And my husband chose to become more religious in college. And we met afterwards and then got married. Hear me. Somebody give me thumbs up if you can hear me, because the signal is cutting out a little bit. I see here, I was just talking about my family, that my husband and I are both Balei Tshuva, and we wanted to live in a community that really was interesting and diverse and all that had lots of different kinds of people. So, can't hear me. Hopefully you can hear me now. Someone say again, just let me know if you can hear me or not. Much better. Okay, good. And so that's why we chose Riverdale, and we've stayed here, and we really love it here. Okay, I see there's someone on here. She was the one who asked me the question about where I live, and then she said she's on here trying to understand her daughter-in-laws. And it says that her daughter-in-laws failed IUI and they're starting IVF and trying to support her. So this is, I was giving a talk this morning to a number of women who also were in that age bracket and really trying to understand, many of them were in that age bracket and really trying to understand their family members who are going through it and how to be supportive. And what I always say to, the older generation, the mothers and the mother-in-laws are, it is your job to be supportive, and it is your job to run interference for these couples, for your daughters and daughters-in-law, for the rest of the family. Because look, you may not know exactly what's going on, but you know something, obviously. And in this situation, you know that they're about to start IVF, and they've just had at least one, if not more, failed cycles. And I imagine that if they're even at this point, it means they've been trying for a while already. These couples, as we've talked about before, when I first started this Insta Live, we opened up with the question of, what do I do about a baby shower when I'm dealing with infertility? So, yeah, your daughter or daughters-in-law might not want to show up to family events that have lots of kids at it. They might feel it's really hard to be around other people, be around certain members of the family that have younger kids. It might be too painful for them to even come to weddings or bar mitzvahs or things that don't necessarily specifically have to deal with babies, so to speak. So it is your job to, number one, run interference for them with everyone else in the family who's bad-mouthing them and saying, oh my God, I can't believe they're not coming, and I can't believe they're not, and I can't believe they're not. So that's your first and your foremost job. Secondly, it's your job to hold them and be supportive. And what that means is to get them and to make them feel that no matter what they're going through, that they're loved, that they're validated, that whatever happens and whatever decisions they make about whatever it is, that you will be there to support them. And so it also means little things like, maybe dropping something off for them and saying like, I saw this and I thought of you. Or it's I just wanted to bring you dinner tonight because I made extra soup, whether you made extra soup or not. Or I was at this store and I know you love like this kind of scented whatever. And like they had those candles, that was those scent that you love. And I really wanted to bring it to you. And I'm just dropping it off at your doorstep. You don't even need to say hello. Mailing them things, just like checking in like, hey, this might be a really hard week. Do you have any doctor appointments this week? Do you want me to drive you? Like it's like the line of being supportive, but not being nosy. If they want to tell you details about their medical situation, they will. But it's your job to hold them and to be that source of comfort for them in a time where everything just feels so out of control. And so whatever you can do to just make them feel loved, that is your role. Okay, let me see what else is here. Chocolate, yes. Sending dinner, chocolate, yes, Denise. Denise, how are you? It's so nice to see you. Hi, Brian D. Okay, guys, a few more minutes. Any other questions? Happy to answer personal questions. If they're not too personal, I try not to talk too much about my own private life and my personal life because that's not the purpose of this page. This nonprofit is my work. This is not my space where I talk about my children. I talk about the recipes that I've been cooking. I talk about, the crazy things that might have happened in my day. This nonprofit, this page is not about me. So I try to, as much as I can, remove myself and give as much as I can, but without being too personal, because that's not what you need. And it's also, this is not me. I was supposed to have a baby is not the Aimee Baron page. It is just the I was supposed to have a baby page. But in little sessions like this, I'm happy to answer things as long as they're appropriate. Okay, I know there was one other thing I wanted to mention before I sign off tonight. Hold on, give me a second. Oh, excuse me. It was about, hold on. Do you have a list that says say this and not say that? Absolutely. If you actually go on our website and you, I believe it's if you sign up for our newsletter or you sign up I think it says if you sign up here, we'll send you the list of do's and don'ts. Either way, go on our website, click contact me, and we will send you that list. Or you can, yes, we also have many, Denise, did you want to come work here? Denise is totally right. We have many things on our page, including highlights that say what not to say, what not to say, what not to say, what to say, how to be supportive. But yes, we do have a document that has all of those suggestions put together and collated. So we're happy to send that out. You can send me a DM here, or you can send an email through the website, and we'll make sure to get that to you. Hey, I don't know if it's Emily at Jewish Fertility Foundation. I think it's probably Emily, but hey, we're just doing a little impromptu live here and asking and answering any questions for everybody here. Okay, one more thing. What did I want to say? Right. So speaking of that's exactly what you actually took the words out of my mouth in terms of, do we have a list of what to say and what not to say? I want to remind everyone again about the tell me about your family instead of asking how many children do you have, or are you married, or any of those things. Oh, wait, hold on. Question popping up. Okay. How to suggest this live or other things to parents or in-laws. Okay, we're going to get that. 1 second. But remember, we naturally have lots of conversations with people all day long, in the park, at the zoo, at work, at the post office, at the grocery store. And often we're traveling, we see people we haven't seen before, et cetera, and it's very natural to just ask people how they're holding and what they're doing and what they've been up to, and you haven't seen them in a while. And the natural question, because we all do it, the natural question is, so, how you doing? How are your kids? How old are your kids now? How many do you have? So no, I'm asking you and I'm begging you, and we talk about this a lot, and I will talk about this until the cows come home. I'm not sure who the cows are and where they're going, but until the cows come home, please use the words instead. Tell me about your family. Please. Tell me about your life. I want to hear about it. Give people the choice. Give them the option. Let them answer in the way that they want to. Don't pointedly put them on the spot and make them uncomfortable. Maybe they're not married. Maybe they don't have kids yet. Maybe they don't, et cetera. Let them answer the way that they want to answer. Okay, last question, and then we are signing off. Okay, how to suggest this live or this program or our Instagram, or in general, the work that we do, how to suggest it to parents, in-laws, or other people in your life. It's hard. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy. It's hard. It is because all of you know already, because of lots of the education that we do, that people don't want advice when they're going through something. They just want support. They want the validation. They don't want you to tell them what they should be doing. They don't want to hear about that doctor. They don't want to hear about that medicine. They don't want to hear about your cousin's best friend's second marriage and the wife. They don't want to hear about any of that. They just, when someone tells you that they're sitting in pain, they just want you to hold them. They don't want advice. They don't want you to tell them what you think they should be doing instead and how they're doing it wrong. And so, I'm just saying something else here. Thank you, Denise. So this question of how can I suggest to people that they should get support, or how can I do this, is a little bit like giving people advice. That's why I'm saying that it's hard. So the way I offer it to people is, sort of mentioning it offhand that you came across this. It was really valuable because you can make something up if you need to. I'm not in favor of telling untruths, but when it serves a purpose to help someone or to emotionally help you to deal with a sticky situation, as I mentioned previously in this live, I think that there are times when they're necessary. And so if you want to say something gentle like, hey, I came across this, Instagram handle, or I found this website, and it's been really helpful for me to learn about my neighbor is going through infertility, and I've really learned a lot, and I know that they support lots of people who are going through this. It's been really eye-opening. That's sort of a very gentle way of where you're putting it on you. You're not putting it on the other person saying hey, you have a problem and you should go see this. It's no, I've chosen this for myself and this has been helpful to me. When you personalize it, it's easier for people to accept it. And so that's really the best way to offer it up. You can also, if you've benefited specifically from some of the groups or some of the posts, you can, let me take that back. If you've benefited specifically from some of the posts or even some of the reels and you thought they were funny, you thought they were ridiculous, you thought I made a fool of myself, or you thought they were valuable, you can also screenshot them or you can send them to people. Tons and tons and tons of people tell me all the time that they're constantly screenshotting and sharing with their husbands, with their friends, with their parents, etc. They're saying this is the way I feel. I want you to treat me like this. I need you to do this for me. This is what I want. It's here in black and white. This is what I want. And so that's really another way to share it in a way that's really it's pointed, but it's really non-threatening. So those are my suggestions. Let me see, there's one other thing here. Joined right as you're finishing answering my question. Yes, I answered your question in the beginning of this live about the baby shower and primary infertility. So we're going to end in just about a minute here, and then hopefully it'll be saved and you'll be able to listen to this afterwards. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here. You are what makes this community what it is. And the power and the number of people that are here, whether you're here for yourself or whether you're here for someone else, or you're just here to learn, the power of community is tremendous. So I thank each of you so much for being here. You are helpful in more ways than you can count. One person is like an entire world, as we know. So thank you. Good night. And I'm happy to answer any other questions. You can stick them in the DMs. And we're here. You know where you can find us. Have a good night, everybody.